What? Can I help you? In terms of the species that you find, looking at the blanket bog, you have curlew and golden plover, which have returned at this time of year, the summer, to breed. You have skylarks and meadow pipits as well. You might see kestrels flying around. You come further down the slope, we've got deer, barn owls, short-eared owls, lapwing, countless invertebrate species, countless plant species, and it all creates this wonderfully eclectic mix that is the West Pennines. United Utilities asked Lancashire Wildlife Trust if we wanted to be the lead applicant on this bid, representing not only them but all the farm tenants, the other landowners in the area such as the Woodland Trust, and the aim was to find a way to match sustainable agriculture and flourishing wildlife.
So the concept of the partnership working came about because we understood that we couldn't deliver a project on this scale on our own, and it was important to get the right partners involved from a very early phase. And we felt that this area in particular was very well suited to the Wildlife Trust. If we can improve the management of the water on the hills, on the catchment areas we can see behind us, it means that water quality coming off the hills and into the reservoirs is as good as it can be before it gets anywhere near a treatment plant.
So you've got a whole range of habitats here. Probably the most important one, certainly from a national perspective and a UU perspective, is the peatlands, the blanket bogs. Peatlands are really important in terms of drinking water quality. We live in a really wet part of the country. The rain falls on the hills, it filters through there, and it produces cleaner water. So cleaner water coming off the hills into the rivers, into the reservoirs. The problem is that over the many decades, if not centuries, peatlands have degraded. I mean, obviously as a company, it's about improving water quality, but it's also about improving the biodiversity, improving partnerships with key stakeholders, and here I'm particularly thinking around our farm tenants who would be an absolute key part in terms of being able to deliver our vision.
I'm Helen Drinkall and I've been farming here at Manor House for roughly 10 years. I'm the third generation of our family to farm here. I grew up on the farm. My dad's always worked on the farm, my granddad before him. It's just a way of life. It's like the best upbringing ever. I always sort of say, like most kids, I feel like when it kind of got to the end of the summer holidays, they would sort of be desperate to go back to school, and I was always like, oh, really? We've got to go back to school? It's a stunning, beautiful area to sort of call your office effectively. We have roughly 60 beef shorthorn cattle, which is a native breed, and we have about 1,600 breeding ewes. Our biggest challenge at the minute is probably funding. It's kind of being held back from us a bit. I would say we're just sort of treading water. We're just, it sounds a bit cliche, but kind of just surviving. It is, at the end of the day, a business that needs investment, that needs new machinery, everything. You know, people need paying, tractors need renewing, like things don't last forever. So as much as we would ultimately like to kind of do these things to benefit the environment, as long as it's kind of, we can make it work and we can plan for it, and as a business it's worthwhile doing.
We want this place to be a hub, a beacon in the landscape, not just for nature, but for people. This isn't we're shutting people out of the West Pennines. People are the West Pennines.
Já nasce, like that. He's really my daughter's cat much more than mine, but she's gone off to university, so. My name is Marjan Bouda, and I'm a sculptor and artist all round. So I'm from the Netherlands, a place called Groningen in the very northeast. I grew up on a farm there. Adventure drew me, the 19-year-old me. I spent 4 years in kind of social work, and then later I went to art college in Manchester and in London. I came to a point where I really, really wanted to have my own studio space. So that is what I found here in Darwin. I know I'm Dutch in the first place, but I kind of like to claim a little bit of like Lancashire lass. I think there is an interest really from growing up with animals on the farm. I mean, I've worked in bronze a lot before, and there I use a lot of texture. I have all sorts of molds and I recreate patterns of kind of everyday materials. Walking up to the moors and then coming to the wild parts, that's sort of what gets me. I like it's very atmospheric, can be bleak. I quite like a bit of bleak, yeah. The heather and the birds that like suddenly appear. But also I made quite a lot of local pieces here. There's the heron at Entwistle. That's been there like I think 16 odd years. I always feel ever so slightly anxious for it. Ever so slightly like, is it still okay? But I think it is. But it was a more sort of upright stance, and now it's very much looking for a frog or a fish for its dinner. He's all right. If you think about the inspiration that I draw from this amazing wildlife and the incredible environment here, then what an enormous loss that would be is not to have that ongoing and protected and looked after and restored.
Peatlands nationally are under threat. One of the big risks that we have in this area is wildfire.
I think most local people will remember when Winter Hill was on fire, they had to have their windows and doors shut whilst the smoke was blowing over their houses, and it caused an issue to human health. And we want to make this landscape more resilient and stop that happening.
It's also important that the people that are out and about in the countryside respect it and understand like gates need closing, dogs need keeping on leads, you can't have your barbecues on the moor because all those things can have such a drastic impact.
My name is Aman Etezadi. I came to Britain in 1981. Originally, I was living in Tehran, which was the capital of Iran, and I just followed work, and I ended up in Darwin. To begin with, the weather was totally different, but very soon I got used to it, and now I call this my home. I gave up working about 6-7 years ago, looking after one of my relatives that is suffering from Huntington. It's a 24/7 care, and whenever I have a respite, I go up the hill in Moor and just walk. It gives me that extra energy to go along a bit further. Darwin Tower is basically like a destination, but in life, I'm not thinking about the destination. I'm thinking about the journey. So on the way, you look at the animals, you look at the vegetation, you look at the greeneries. These are the little things, but for me, it's the whole story. I have the pleasure to have this place next to me.
I felt completely at home the minute I saw this place.
The first thing everyone always says when they come up here is, oh, haven't you got an amazing view? And I'm like, yep, yep.
I've worked in this area since 1992, so I'm really, really proud to call that my office.
We have to really make sure that we leave something for the future generation so they can enjoy too.
There is so much potential locked in these hills and these fields and forests that just needs unlocking, and this project is a chance for that to happen.